What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creativ Rise Podcast. So glad you were here. We are back. It feels like we have not podcasted in a while, even though it's only been like 2 weeks.
It's because
I think it's probably been 2 weeks, but we've been gone. We're kind of recovering. We're in like recovery mode right now. For all you wedding photographers who know what we're talking about, feels like we're having like zombie days because we were recovering from a wild week last week. It is so epic. If you follow us on social, you probably saw what was going on. We had an incredible time down in the desert of California. What happened?
And if you might be wondering, hey, I missed that on stories, I'm going to make a story highlight right after this podcast
check it
so
out.
that you can check out the entire thing. It was so epic. So, you guys, last week we took 12 creatives to Palm Springs and stayed in a luxury mansion with 12 other creatives. There was like 9 bedrooms. We had a pool. There was a literal full, I think, 12-hole mini golf course on the property. The next door neighbor was Coachella. You could see the Ferris wheel from the backyard, which was so cool. And it was just unreal food. Like the place we were able to stay with the mountains in the background, it was unreal. Like a luxury experience for sure.
Yeah, like so epic. And for so many people they'd never been to the desert before, actually most of them, that was their first time ever in the desert.
Yeah.
The weather was smoking hot. It was beautiful. Like the dinners were epic. We had like a taco dude come in and like serve us like fresh, authentic tacos. The first day, literally poolside tacos. Then we took them out for some awesome dinners. We did an ATV excursion, which was kind of nuts.
That was the coolest.
I'm very happy no one got hurt because it's a little bit sketchy, and hanging out with me on anything that's a little bit sketchy normally gets a little bit sketchier. So I'm glad
Joey
nobody.
Is a bit extreme.
I am glad nobody like wiped out or anything. And then we, oh my gosh, we went to Joshua Tree for a whole evening, shot a ton of content. People just got to connect and bond. We ran sessions through the entire 4 days. So it was a 4-day retreat. We had session, fun, tacos, fun, session,
Work hard,
it was
play
just
hard,
like
and
so much great stuff. So you're probably sitting here going, what the heck was that? How did I miss that? I was watching it online. Oh my gosh. Let us give you a quick breakdown of what it was, how you could potentially get involved in a future one, because so many people are asking us that. So here's the quick gist, okay? Creativ Rise started in 2019 because we looked at the world and we went, wow, we have experienced the freedom of what building a business that has succeeded to a certain extent has given us, and we want everyone possible to be able to have just that, a business that allows them to do what they love and succeed at doing it. So we started Creativ Rise, and the best way that we actually found that we could help people get to that point of building businesses where they can replace their income or cross that 6-figure mark was something called the 6-week mastermind that we built. The 6-week mastermind has had like 250 people go through it over the last couple of years. It has changed countless lives, countless marriages, countless families. Like generational stuff changes when somebody actually learns how to run a business and starts creating a business that really, really changes someone's life. It's a beautiful thing. That 6-week mastermind is so cool because we get to connect with so many creatives from all over the world. And then once they start crushing it, they hit new problems, new questions. They need a deeper sense of community with a higher level group of people. And that's where these inner circle retreats come in. So they're kind of like a insider, we call them the inner circle because it's a little bit of an insider thing, and they're positioned for grads of the Creativ Rise Mastermind, which is a 6-week virtual mastermind we run a couple times a year, and we literally just take them on epic trips, epic retreats to really cool places. The content level is so high. Like we talked about building teams, building like really, really, really good sales funnels for your service-based business, whether you're a photographer, filmmaker, whatever it's going to be. So much more. Building 6-figure offers, like so many things. We also talked a little bit about visualizing what they want their future to look like. And that's what we're going to give you a little insider look into this podcast. We had a prompt sheet for them with so many questions. And on the top of the prompt sheet, it said, it's April 2028, 5 years from now. Who are you? Where do you like? Just went into everything, because here's the deal. If you don't know why you're building a business, you might as well not do it.
Why are you building a
honestly
business?
though,
Yeah,
like
literally.
you need to know why you want to build a business, because as much as we believe at Creativ Rise, like building a business should be simple. If you follow the right procedures, the right steps, you think about it from the right way, your mindset is right, it should be simple.
Yeah,
Does not
absolutely.
mean it's not hard work though. Like if you do not have a why that's kind of like, hey, this is what I'm working towards. I'm working towards living in this position, working towards having a family in this position. I'm working towards being able to do this with my finances, give to this, have this with my time. Like if you don't understand those things, building a business is freaking hard, right? You need a North Star to keep encouraging you in the days of building and building and building. And quick spoiler alert, the building never stops. You build into one phase, you get through it, you think you made it, and you go, shoot, I got bigger goals, and then you build into another phase. So that's what the Inner Circle is designed for. We led them through a really, really cool visualization workshop the first night when they got there. Everyone's stuffed full of tacos, and we were like, let's run you guys through a visualization thing. The sun went down over the mountains. We're out by the pool. Weather was like still 90 degrees. It was beautiful. It wasn't weird and woo-woo. It wasn't like crazy, like, oh, visualize, you know, like any like weird stuff. It was just simply like, hey, it's 5 years from now. Why are you doing this? You know, where do you live? All these questions. So we want to give you guys 6 questions that we think were really important off of that prompt sheet that we want you to think about as well. But before we do that, any other words did I miss anything on the just talking about the retreat?
No, but I did get a message from one of our people that came through the retreat, Haley Zumkeller. She's so rad.
She's awesome.
She wrote
so cool.
She wrote this awesome thing about her experience. I'll just say it really fast, and then we'll jump into the questions. But she basically said, like, I learned tangible, unique skills that will not only grow my business the way I want, but it will help me lead my brand clients in the same direction, which is so cool. She's taking the info she learned from the retreat and is making her business and her clients' lives so much better. She said, I'm leaving the retreat with confidence that I can actually make a difference for my clients, that know how to get clients in the industry that I want, and honestly left me with a sense of community that has filled a little void in my heart. It was inspiring to not only learn how to reach our goals, but witness other high achievers doing even more as motivation. I found my people at this retreat. Nothing will stop me from going to future ones.
Oh, let's go.
Truly life-changing. So shout
Haley
out to
is
Haley.
so great. So great. She like tripled her income through the mastermind. And I have no doubt she's going to do something similar coming out of like the Inner Circle space, right? Being connected to those people, getting that higher level info and just developmental stuff. So okay. The quick question too that I need to answer. Why do we only do these retreats for grads? Because I know people are probably thinking that.
Yeah.
The reality is it would be really cool if we did it with a bunch of random people that never went through anything from Creativ Rise. That'd be awesome. However, you get a lot less done when it's that way. And here's why. When the retreats are only for Creativ Rise Mastermind grads, what it means is that everyone has the same foundation, the same mindset, the same view of business, the same view of money, the same view of how valuable they are to the economy, right? And when you can really program everybody that way because they all have the same foundation, the conversations just go way deeper, way quicker, and because of that, like just the depth of relationships and what's going to happen, the value for your business that you get out of that, it just skyrockets. So that's why we do it for only grads, is because it allows us to really create an environment where we can get the right people with the right perspectives to all come together and really help each other build, which is epic. So I'm so excited. Back to the visualization thing. Yes. This is something that is a little bit interesting. Like, I'm not going to lie. I grew up like not kind of into like, you know, this whole like, whoa stuff. And that's not what this is. But I always stayed away from like doing a visualization type thing because I was always thinking, oh, that must be weird. Right. Someone know that's weird. And then I realized, wait a second. No. I'm just like sitting here. Somebody walked me through something like this. And I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm just like sitting here thinking about my future and what I want.
Yeah, just
that's not weird at all.
Future.
Like, that's not weird at all. And in fact, it's weird to not do that, right? It's weird to not think about the future. So we ran this workshop. It was probably about an hour and 15-minute workshop. So this is just a small snippet that we're going to give you, some of these questions. And we just prompted people through this. I sat there. We had some chill music playing. It was awesome. We're out by the pool, underneath the stars, stuffed full of tacos. And I just walked people through all of these prompts in different categories, okay? So there was a bunch of different categories. I'll read you the categories really quick so you can understand kind of what the workshop entailed. But there's environmental prompts. So what do you want your environment to look like in 5 years from now? There was people and family prompts. You know, who do you want to be around? All that type of stuff. There was time and experiences. How do you want to spend your time? What do you want to be experiencing 5 years from now? There was obviously career and finances. This was a business development retreat. Obviously, we're talking about career and finances. There was a health and body thing. You know, we all need to be making goals for what do we want our health to look like in 5 years. And there was an accomplishments thing. So we are going to give you a question from each of these buckets, each of these 6 buckets that we think are really crucial, that we wish you all could have been there for this entire workshop. However, we're glad that you are here for this podcast because we're going to give you a few of them. So the first question right off the bat, to get you into starting to visualize where you want to be in 5 years. So it is May 2028. It's 5 years from the time this podcast comes out. I want you to actually think about this. Where do you want to live? starting with one that's really easy. Where do you want to live? I want you to actually like visualize what it looks like. Is it out in the country? Is it in the city? Are you in a skyscraper? You know, Christy and I would probably
Are you
be
in
like,
Australia?
Oh, yeah. Are you in a different country, right? Are you around family? Are you far from family, right? Like think about where you want to live. Like what's it smell like? What's it look like? Which side does the sun rise up in your house each day? Like where's your windows pointing? Like those are some really cool things to think about. And again, not to get weird with it, but it's kind of cool to think and go like, man, if I just close my eyes for a second, like where do I see us living? And what does that imply I have to start doing today in order to really build that vision and build that future, right?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the first question. Pause the podcast if you need to think about that for a second. If you've got it, we're going to keep rolling on. But every question we ask, guys, pause it if you need to think about it for a second. I would encourage you to write them down and really spend some time thinking about these things because it is so powerful when you actually understand why you're building a business. Like, what are you working towards? Why are you doing something of value every single day to earn money to then live a life? Like, what is that life you're trying to live, right?
Yeah. So the first one is where do you live? The second one is who do you spend your time with? Now, this is a very important question because some of you might be at like 9 to 5s and you spend all day with these coworkers that you're like, they're not actually great for me and I don't actually love being around these people. And I would rather be spending all of my time with my family, with my kids, with my parents who are aging, with my friends who I absolutely love. Do I want to spend more time by myself? Like, you're like, hey, I want to spend more time with me, myself, and I. Like, I want introvert time. Who are you spending your time with? Also thinking about this in the sense of who do you surround yourself with that are influencing you? Are you like, man, I'm surrounding myself with other creative entrepreneurs who have like big dreams and big goals? Because if I really think about it right now, I'm surrounded by a bunch of naysayers, a bunch of people that are stuck in the 9 to 5 grind and like kind of poo-poo on my dreams all the time. Like I want to surround myself with these types of people. Or maybe you even have people that you see online that you're like, I've like kind of made friends with a couple people online. Like I'd love to actually spend more time with those people in person, taking intentional trips, whatever it is. Who do you spend your time with? What's important to you? Because again, the actions you take now will show you who you're going to be spending your time with in the future.
100%. I love that. So how do you spend your day? That is a third question. How do you actually spend your day? Are you waking up early? Are you not? Are you waking up late? Are you getting to work right away? Do you not start work till 11 a.m.? Do you start work at 1 p.m.? Do you end work at 1 p.m.? Who knows, right? The question is, how do you actually spend your day? Which hobbies are you doing 5 years from now? What do you have time to do, right? How do you see your time? Do you respect it? You take care of it really well? You prioritize the people and the things you want to prioritize? Or are you still not really thinking about how you want to spend your days? So 5 years from now, you're still not actually in control of how you spend your days. I would assume most people listening to the podcast would go, no, in 5 years, I want to be in control of how I spend my day, right?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the main reasons why people want to work for themselves. I know for me, that's huge. I tell you this all the time, like I cannot work a job and have somebody else tell me what to do, when to do it, and be so strapped to that. I would literally disintegrate. I feel like the humanity inside of me would just cry every day. Like I'm so driven by how I want to spend my days. So that's a great question for me, even personally, to think about, hey, in 5 years from now, like, how do I want to be spending my days? May of 2028. How does Joey want to be spending his days? That's the third question. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fourth question is, how much do I earn? How much money are you making annually in year 5? In 5 years from now, how much do you want to be making? Because you might be thinking like, oh, like I want to live in this house, or I want to live in this neighborhood, and I want to take these types of trips. I want to travel like this, and I want to have more time for my family. But can you do that in your current amount of revenue? And for a lot of people, their 5-year vision is very, very different than their current revenue. So think about that. How much do I actually need to live on if my lifestyle is my 5-year vision? How much do I need to make? Actually get serious about it. Go, okay, if I want to buy this amount of house, what is that a month? Can I supply that in my business? Can I keep that up? Can I do that? Think about those things in detail. And then also on the flip side, think, how much do I want to be making in the sense of like, it doesn't need to be infinite. Like you don't need to always have these 50K months or even like 12K months or whatever it is. Totally. Like if making $100,000 is like, I'll be living my best life 5 years from now, and I only have to make $100,000.
That's great to know.
Amazing. Like do that. Like we always want to encourage people like, think about the lifestyle you want to live and then match your income to that. Don't do the opposite where it's like, well, I just need to make as much money as humanly possible and burn myself out. Like that's the last thing we want for creatives. So think about how much money do I want to earn? Does it match up to my lifestyle that I want to live?
Yeah, such a key question, right? That's obviously a massive question to think about. And then reverse engineer what you're selling, right? Make sure, hey, if this is how much I want to make, what does it look like on a realistic track in 5 years to increase my income or stabilize my income if you're already there to make sure in 5 years I'm making that much money? Okay, the fifth question is, what does my health look like? That's a very important question. That's probably a question that a lot of people don't take seriously enough. Yeah. We're trying to take that question more seriously, but in 5 years, I hope I'm in way better shape than I am now. I hope that I do not have, I hope I'm flexible and I'm spending time in the gym that allows us to still ski all the time and allows me to surf and do whatever I want, right? Because my body's healthy, right? Yeah. I'm having time based on how I spend my day to then prioritize my health, right? So it's a really, really important question, right? There's also an aspect to that that's tied financially. Like if you're able to increase the amount of money you're able to make, a lot of people think that they can't get healthy because they can't afford to. And that there's actually some merit to that. Like getting healthy is expensive, like having a gym membership. Eating healthy is typically a lot more expensive than eating processed foods, right? So you also got to think about that. Like in 5 years, do I want to be someone who's just really prioritizing my nutrition and what I eat? So really, really important question. I love that. Yeah. Stop the podcast and think about that for a second. Jot it down. Actually mull over that because that's a cool North Star to telling you what actions you need to start taking today to build that future out.
Yeah. And then the sixth and final question, and it's one of the most important questions, is what are you proud of? In 5 years, what are you proud that you have built? Whether it's something in your business, like, oh, I've accomplished X goal. I do this in my business. I met this revenue goal. Is it something lifestyle? Like, oh, I was able to buy this home for my family, or I was able to pay off my parents' mortgage, like these big things, like these big financial goals that you're kind of excited and be proud of that you can walk into? Or is it like, I'm proud that I give X amount of dollars every single year to my favorite charity? Is I'm proud that I was able to drill a well in Nicaragua and give clean water to people in a village that never had it before? What are you proud of? What do you want to be proud of as you move forward into 5 years from now that maybe you couldn't say right now? And think about and start brainstorming some of those really cool things that you'd be stoked to tell your future grandkids that you were able to do in May of 2028. I think that's one of the most important questions to ask.
Yeah, it's so good. So again, guys, picture yourself getting these questions, sitting around a fire under the stars with new friends, people that you're really excited to meet. Everyone's just buzzing about the excitement over the next couple of days. Like this was a really, really cool time and environment to do that. And this has been a very practical yet impactful workshop for people. Again, we spent about an hour and 15 minutes doing this. We had probably anywhere from 30 to 35 questions we walked people through. It was a lot, but it was so cool because people got to get a really, really clear picture on why they show up every day to work so hard.
Yeah.
Why they put in the extra time, why they put themselves out there on sales calls and get slammed on the door. And no. Like, why do we do the things we do in order to create the future we're trying to create, right? It's such an important question. So if you're sitting here going, man, that's really cool. Like, I wish I could have been there. We wish you could have been there too. Again, those retreats with that really in-depth style of connection time, and that's where you and I are in person. We're really going deep with people. That is only open to Creativ Rise 6-week mastermind graduates for the time being. And we love it that way, again, because the foundation, when people go through the mastermind to then get into an environment like that, is exponential. Now, not everybody that goes to the mastermind needs to go into something like that. Not at all. It is totally an optional thing. Like, hey, come on out if you want. And a lot of people do. However, if you're even going, hey, what's this mastermind thing? Like, what are you guys talking about? I'm new to Creativ Rise. Well, the 6-week mastermind is, again, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it is the best framework we had, the best framework we could possibly make in order to take people from where they are to doing what they love for a living and actually succeeding at it, which is typically around the $70K a year to 6-figure mark. So we've built a blueprint that helps people get there as quickly as humanly possible, while also doing it in a community that keeps you accountable, encourages you, fills up your cup with people that are like-minded. One of my favorite things people say when they join the mastermind is like, wow, I honestly didn't know that there was this many people that thought like me. Yeah. This many people who got me. Like, I'm just not surrounded by a lot of people like that, right? That was my story growing up as an entrepreneur in a small town. I I didn't know a lot of people like that, right? So getting to create this community and this environment for creatives to step into, learn the frameworks and the systems they need to implement into their business, which saves them so much time because they're not having to learn all that stuff themselves and often fail a ton to learn the lessons. We're just giving you the lessons right off the bat. And in 6 weeks, you get all of that. You get like 6 years of failure and lessons in 6 weeks. So the systems and the frameworks are phenomenal, but the community and accountability is what makes Creativ Rise different. Yeah. You are handheld by other people, which means you cannot fall through the cracks. So if you are a business that is currently doing 0 to 70, 80K a year, and you're wanting to learn how to make your first 6 figures, then the Creativ Rise 6-week mastermind is for you. 1,000%. Again, over a couple hundred grads have gone through, which has been epic. It has been so fun to help build like 249 different businesses. I think that's the graduate count right now. We've gotten help 249 businesses get built, which is just so phenomenal. The last group, how much money did they make? In 6 weeks, the last group of 414,000.
Yeah, something like
so
that.
The last mastermind group was 37 businesses. And in 6 weeks, again, these are all people that are learning to build a business that succeeds, right? In 6 weeks, the whole group, 37 businesses, did $414,000 cash collected.
Wow.
If that doesn't scream that thing works, I don't know what does. We're so proud of what it's become, honestly, because again, we exist simply to help people do what they love for a living and actually succeed at it, right?
Yeah.
Because we've both experienced the freedom that comes when you own your own business that actually works, it actually grows, actually puts money in your pocket, actually enables you to do the things you want to do with your time, right? Your finances. It's incredible. So
cool.
So glad you're listening to the show. Yeah. If you're going, hey, it sounds like that's for me, head on over to creativrise.com. You'll find the link in the description. You can find a ton more info about that. Launching the next one in the fall. So you got to get on the wait list because it sells out every time. We only take 35 to 37 businesses so that we can keep it intimate so we can really give them the attention they deserve so they can actually get results. But other than that, guys, keep listening to the podcast. Like, the podcast is a great resource. We try our best to make this resource as applicable to your daily business building life as possible so you can actually break through certain barriers. So if you got any ideas for that, let us know.
Hit us up. And you guys, if you fill out this visualization thing and have some notes, send us a picture of the notes.
We'd love to see it. Yeah. Post it on your story.
Post on your story. Tag us. Send it to us. We would love to see what you're dreaming about in the next 5 years. And we'd love to cheer you on in that. So again, hit us up on the wait list if you want in on the Creativ Rise Mastermind. And thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate you guys so much. And we will see you next week.
See you next week.